Hi guys, what I'm talking about here at the moment, not at the moment, but what I'm making is a small videos on different tool bags that you would use in the trade. So this one here is more designed for a person who could be a house wirer, works on site all the time. It's what we call a hip bag. So your belt comes around here, goes through and sits on your waist. You would have a hanger for your battery drill and another one for your claw hammer. This doesn't actually sit the claw hammer inside. So what you've got is you've got your T-piece here, which is a piece that holds your tape. Alright, so you probably put 2 or 3 different rolls of tape on there, insulation tape, this one being for earth, neutral, could have red and white and blue. Alright. On this side here, I've got a set of wire crimpers because I tend to fit off a lot of control wiring. So I have these here, these are for like lugs, when you want to crimp a lug onto the end of a wire. So they're the same. You do have the same in the back of the pliers as well here, but it's trying to get your pliers around and get them fitted, so I tend to carry a separate tool for that. Okay. Alright, pliers, I've got myself a set of crescent pliers here. Pliers for investment wise, something around $40 or $50. Look, if you get a $5 pair or a $10 pair, the things you need to look at are the insulation factor. This has got a good quality insulation on it. You want something that's going to be rated for 1,000 volts. In other words, you don't want to be cutting a live wire and the insulation is going to break down and give you electrocution. So pliers, $40, $50, good long cutting edge. All right. Some of the Marvel ones have got a really long, giant cutting edge and they actually crimp. Not designed to cut nuts and bolts with. All right. This cutting edge here is your stripping part. This is where you do your nuts or bolts up on this part here. But please do not use them to cut bolts or anything, because what you'll do is you'll put a dent in the edge and it'll just get stiff and be very hard to cut. You might as well throw them in the bin. All right. If you do also cut a live wire, it'll blow a hole in there and the cutting edge is stuck then. All right. So pliers are the most important tool. They're probably the most used tool that you will use all the time. The other thing I've got is a pair of side cutters. Look, these aren't the top of the range side cutters, and you can tell when they're cheap. These ones have got a bit of movement in them. You can get good crescent side cutters and stuff like that. I use my pliers more to cut cables. These are just for cutting cable ties, getting in sometimes where I might need to cut something in a tight spot. They just got a bit more better cutting edge and getting into a smaller area. These also have a crimping area in the back here. You see the little grooves in the back here. They're used for flattening out if I need to flatten a lug out or something like that. These are probably not your top of the range ones, but in the other tool bag I'll show you a bit later. You can see now, see why I'm moving that, it's got movement in it. When you get movement in it, it means, look, yeah, it's okay, but they're not also probably the best one. When I was looking at my pliers later, with a crescent, there's no movement in them at all, okay? So it shows you the difference in quality. Okay, so we've looked at the side cutters. The only other thing I do have in this tool bag is the other pair of pliers would be a pair of pointy nose pliers. They're very long pointy nose pliers. They're good for going in and grabbing things and all that. I'll show you them in the other tool bag. Tape measure, why do I need tape measure? Because if I need to measure cable, bracket, measure a doorway, do something, a very basic ruler is worth carrying on every tool bag. Sometimes you might have 2 tool bags, one that you carry on your waist and another one you might carry on your shoulder if you need to go into another area and carry a few more bits and pieces with it. Most of the good, better tape measures you can get these days are called laser tape measures. You can actually get one where you put it out and it sends a laser beam from one wall to the other. Look, they're $40 or $50, but they'll actually tell you down without actually running a line or anything out how wide the room is. All right. So if you have to do a lot of measuring and lining up like what you call downlights and things on the floor and do a lot of measurements, you're better to invest in a really good tape measure. I mean, this one's only cheap one to go with this bag here, but a good tape measure for marking out is a good laser level and also a laser tape measure. All right. They are very accurate, they give you a very good simple marking, and they're a lot easier than trying to drag the tape around. Screwdrivers, got myself a shifter here. It's got a very heavy insulation part on the end here. More for grip though, not so much for insulation, because you don't use a shifter on live buzz bars. This type of shifter I got here, it's got basically a grip on it, because you'll find with steel after a while it gets oily, everything slops and all that. This is not a top of the range shifter as well. You can see the movement in the back here. This is something like I pick up for $8 or $9, but the problem is I don't use a shifter every day like a motor mechanic, so I don't need to spend $40 or $50 on a good shifter. A shifter you can pick up in 3 sizes. This is a 6-inch, you can pick up a 4-inch and an 8-inch. You get those 3 sizes, you'll cover pretty much most of the things that you need to do, all right? So I've got a shifter in the back here. Now, screwdrivers, good quality screwdrivers. You don't need to spend $100 or $200 on a good pair of screwdrivers. This, which has got a very good grip, the main thing, see, like for example, this is an insulated Stanley screwdriver. These are all included in your kits and stuff like that. But it's a long screwdriver, but the thing is it hasn't got a very good grip on it. So to do things up, it's like all right, but it's very hard in your hand. When you start getting something like this, which is a bit wider, much more comfortable, and you can actually dig in and grab your feet on it. So that's what I'm trying to explain. So I've got these type of screwdrivers here with a larger grip. This is another one, it's out of another type of set. I mean, these are a bit of a mixture of screwdrivers. I mean, I've got a few different sets. But you can pick up a set with 3 screw blade. This is what we call a blade screwdriver with a flat part. This is what we call a star. So you've got two basically types of screwdrivers. You've got a blade and a flat, all right? Blade flat or a star screwdriver. So I've got a couple of different sizes here. These are also hardened steel, like this one here. This is just a cheap chrome one, probably all right. But when you start getting into harder screws and stuff like that, they will twist and break, all right? So for example, this one here, it's been chipped over in the corner. Somebody's damaged it, and it's okay now, but it's pretty much knackered. If I actually go and grind that, it'll become soft and won't be good, but it's still good for using small screwdrivers. But this one's a real fine one. It's more of a thing of pulling appliances apart and things like that, not something you'd be using on switches and things. All right, so I've got these other type of screwdrivers as well. A little bit thin, you can see they're a bit damaged on the end, but good solid screwdriver. Good up. This size is something you'd use on a terminal switch, for example, a light switch mech or something like that. All right, I've got this one here. I've got another long switch. The reason I've got these long ones here is sometimes if I need to get down into a bit of a hard area and all that stuff, but like I said, I wouldn't trust this insulation here. It's pretty thin. It's not as probably thick as what you see on this screwdriver here. So I've got an arrangement of different screwdrivers. They all fit inside. All right. The other thing I've got in the back here is we've got a multimeter. So we pull the multimeter out. All right. That is just a basic multimeter. I'm going to do another show just on what multimeters are and how they work. All right. And how the difference is. This is an auto range meter. You don't have to pay big bucks for it. I paid $25 for this one, and it's just a run around the mill. Also got the catch on the back so you can stand it up as well. Alright, so if I stand that up, it basically means I can use it anywhere. If I need to hold it, I can also prop it up, hold it in somewhere. Look, this will do everything for voltage testing I need to do. There's another type of meter you can get which is called a flute meter, which has got like a hand testing and stuff like that. So I'll leave that in the back. But like I said to you, most of this stuff I've got here is just a simple tool bag I can chuck in the car, go and do some basic wiring, and know that I've got most of my parts and all that stuff. The only other thing that you might sometimes get, got a couple of drill bits. This is just a normal drill bit, flute drill bit. You do need a couple of these. If you do get good quality drill bits, which I'll talk about later, probably a bit about sharpening and what we're going to talk about on the flutes and things, how they sharpen and all that. So what I'll do is we'll go through and have a look at different types of drills that you might use as well. Okay, I'm going to leave it. I'll show you the other tool bag in another video in a minute, which is more of a carry bag, and we'll have a look at the different types. So just going to walk through. Also I've got a toolbox with some meters in it, so I'll do them over the next couple of videos, and we'll walk through the different types of stuff that you could probably get over your apprenticeship or how they work in different trades. Okay? Alright, thanks.